The question that's come in to Ask an Expert is about naming body parts for toddlers, for a 3-year-old. The question is, I'm wondering if there is something on here about teaching toddlers to use correct genital terms. Is it okay to call them private parts or something similar? Or is it important to use the correct words? Really great question, something I get asked a lot. So it is really important to name the proper names for all body parts. It is also okay to use the term private parts or private body parts, and that can be within the context of a larger conversation about our public body parts or public parts versus private parts, when they can be seen, when they need to be covered up, who can touch them and under what circumstances. And we'll talk about body safety because that's one of the most important reasons that we know children need to know the correct names of their body parts. Not understanding how their body works and the names of all of their body parts empowers them to be positive about the changes that will happen with their body. It gives them a vocabulary to talk to adults if there's something wrong with that part of their body or something has happened to that part of their body. And it also decreases shame around those parts of the body, which is often one of the reasons that stops adults having these conversations. And I'll talk about that at the end. So there's lots of books around to talk about body safety and naming body parts. Here's a terrific one. I'll just read 2 of the pages here. So in the bath, we do need to say eye, ear, nose, elbow, shoulder, vulva, vagina, penis, scrotum, just as we would any other body part. So this lovely book, it's an Australian book, everyone's got a bottom. There's mum washing the baby in the bath there and the child's watching on. When Emma was born, Jack wondered why Emma didn't have a penis and testicles like ours. Will she get one when she is older? He asked. Mum smiled and said, no, Emma is a girl. She has a vulva and a vagina. She's a girl like you, Mum, I said. Yes, Mum replied. She's a girl like me. And most of these books have terrific examples of times when an adult might be around when our private parts are exposed and when that's okay and when that's not. Sometimes, so he's having a shower there with Dad. Where's Dad? Dad's there in the shower helping. Sometimes we have a shower with Dad. He helps us wash our hair. My penis, testicles and bottom are private. Dad gives me the soap to wash myself. I wash my tummy, my feet, my penis, testicles and my bottom. We can touch our own private parts. Washing myself helps to look after my body. Emma needs to help washing her private parts. When she's as big as us, she can look after herself too. But obviously Emma's a baby, so that's an appropriate time that she needs an adult to touch and help with her private parts, changing her nappy and in the bath. This little story has a bit on the end of each page. From our head to our toes, we can say what goes. And using a rhyme like that is a really helpful way to talk about body safety. Here's another one, My Underpants Rule. It's a great song and some really fun pictures about private parts and being empowered and in charge of our body. So that's a great book as well. And another good one is No Means No by Janine Sanders. And that talks about body boundary and when that can be breached and who can touch that body boundary. So she's walking with her friend. Sometimes I like to walk by myself and I don't want to hold anybody's hand. I can say, no thanks, not today, as kindly as I can. So talking about being respectful, but also being able to say no, especially if they don't want to kiss and hug adults or relatives. I know that can be difficult in some families, but we need to talk about alternatives of respectfully saying, oh, I prefer to shake your hand today, or high five. Parents often have fear around talking to their children about human sexuality, and often that relates to the fact that parents have never had adequate sexuality education themselves. No one ever taught them the names of their body parts, and so they're learning how to do this. And also currently in our society we have this overlay of fear and shame around bodies, etc. In some countries they don't have that, and it's very simply just naming body parts and it's not a big issue. So yes, we do encourage naming those body parts, normalising it. It's no big deal, and that sends a message to your children about positive human sexuality, that you're an askable parent and that they can talk to you about anything that's happening with their body, and it keeps them safe. Thanks for a great question.